Hello students, welcome to a new class of our English. Today we are going to discuss chapter 5, The Parrot Who Wouldn't Talk, module 1. By the end of today's class, you will be able to read and comprehend the story, enrich your English vocabulary, to identify the humor in the story, to realize that animals too have feeling. Dear students, before moving on to the story, let's read something about the author. The author of the story is Ruskin who was born in 1931. He is a well-known Indian author of children's book, and his famous books are Room on the Roof. He has written 30 novels for children and more than 100 short stories. Before moving on to the story, let's see what is the outline of the story. This is about that lesson. A parrot who wouldn't talk is a story of a parrot who couldn't talk when first brought by its owner. The owner and Ruby, fed up with the parrot's inability to live up to her expectation, would make nasty comments about the bird. The bird flies away one day, but returns later to mimic the owner with the same comment that she had once made at the bird. The twist in the tale comes when the parrot ultimately learns the art of mimicry and tries to take a sweet revenge on its owner. Now, my dear students, let's move on to the story and read more about the story. Page number 55 of your textbook, The Parrot Who Wouldn't Talk. When I was growing up in Missouri, almost all our neighbors kept a pet parrot or parakeet. Sometime these birds would learn to talk. They would say things like, "Steady, child, steady," or "Don't be greedy, don't be greedy." These words and phrases were, of course, learned after some member of the household had repeated them many times in front of the bird. In the beginning of the story, we can see he says that he was growing up in Missouri, and all his neighbors was having a pet, a parrot, but every bird in that locality started to say like this, "Steady, child," or "Don't be greedy." They learned this word because the household members was repeatedly saying this words and again, so the birds learned this word easily. But our parrot refused to talk. On Ruby had brought it from a bird catcher who sold caged birds. Though Granny and Grandfather were not happy about keeping caged birds as pets, Aunt Ruby insisted on keeping the parrot and teaching it to talk. But the bird immediately disliked my aunt. So the bird which was in our author's home refused to talk. His aunt Ruby has brought it from a bird catcher. His grandfather and grandmother was not happy with keeping a bird in a cage. But Aunt Ruby, she wanted to keep that bird in the cage and wanted to teach the bird to talk. So what happened? Because of that, the bird, as soon as it was brought to their home, it started to dislike the aunt. "Kiss, kiss," Aunt Ruby would coo, putting her face close to the bars of the cage. But the parrot would back away, its little eyes getting even smaller with anger. Once it suddenly dived forward and knocked on Ruby's spectacles off her nose. So, what happened? On Ruby was continuously trying to teach the parrot something, but when she come near the cage, the parrot would go back, and its little eyes will get even smaller with anger because the parrot dislike on Ruby. Once what happened, when on come near the cage, the parrot dived forward and she took out the glass spectacles from her nose. After that, Aunt Ruby stopped showing her love for the parrot. She became unfriendly towards the poor bird. She made faces at it and called out, "Can't sing, can't dance," and other nasty comments. So, after that incident, after which incident? The incident that the parrot dived forward and knocked Aunt Ruby's spectacle off her nose. After that, she stopped showing her love for that parrot and she became unfriendly towards the poor bird, and she started to show some faces and she started to insult that bird like can't sing, can't dance, and she was throwing some nasty commands over the little bird. So, my dear students, we are stopping here. I want you all to read the lesson one more time. So, dear students, thank you for listening and watching. Have a nice day.